Hello friends. The patellar tendon bearing cast or PTB cast is usually applied as the last stage of treatment for the tibial fracture. The partial pressure applied to the fracture site as the patient walks stimulates the bone growth. The PTB cast or brace may be used for rehabilitation of the knee for a patient whose leg has been immobilized by a long leg cast or above knee cast. In this presentation, the application of the PTB cast will be demonstrated. The objective of the exercise or presentation is to show the application of the PTB cast to stabilize the fracture while stimulating the bone growth. The PTB cast is indicated as the final stage of treatment for tibial fracture and rehabilitation of the knee. To apply the PTB cast, the following materials are needed: a stockinette or tubular gauze bandage, cotton roll for undercast padding, scissors, plaster of Paris bandages in rolls of varying width, POP slabs generally 5 layers thick and available in different width, a walking rubber or a cast shoe, and water or another wetting agent. The water should be tepid or lukewarm with ideal temperature of between 22 to 25 degrees Celsius. It should be noted that the colder water or bandage that is wetted will allow an increased working time, while warmer water reduces the working time. During the apply of PTB plaster cast, the patient should be seated with the knee over the edge of the table. The foot is supported at the metatarsals. The knee as shown here. The patient's knee should be slightly flexed, approximately 20 degree, while both the gastrocnemius and soleus muscles should be relaxed. The foot should be plantigrated and the second toe should be in line with the tibia to prevent inversion or eversion of the foot. The distal border of the PTB cast is located at the metatarsal heads. The toes should be remain uncovered. The anterior proximal border of the PTB lies above the patella. The posterior landmark is 2 fingers below the popliteal crease. Now, so the patient may not bend the knee more than 90 degrees, which would cause rotation of the leg. To begin casting, a stockinette is applied and cut slightly longer than the final cast will be. Now, starting as the distal border, cotton wool is generally wounded on once around the foot and then around the ankle in a figure of 8, making sure that the edge does not cut into the 90-degree bend of the ankle. The cotton wool is wounded towards the knee, giving an overlap of 1 centimeter, which provides a single layer of the padding and ensure a secure fitting cast. A piece of cotton wool is used to pad the patella. It should be kept in mind that when the more padding is applied, there will be less support to the injury site. Cotton wool padding is also applied to the heel and over the malleoli to protect against pressure points causing the pressure sores. Before the first POP bandage is wetted, the free end is doubled over to provide additional support to the base of the foot. The plaster bandage is wetted and the excess water is removed. Starting with the bottom of the foot, the plaster bandage is wrapped around the ankle in a figure of 8. The POP bandage is wrapped around the leg towards the knee with a 50% overlap. The end of the second plaster bandage is folded over the to form a slab. The bandage is wetted and the slab is placed over the patella. In this video you can watch this. The bandage is wrapped down and around to the proximal posterior border and then upwards and around to the patella. Wrapping of POP continues towards the foot and over the heel. This is wrapping going up to the patella. Plaster molding begins with the one hand applying strong pressures between the head of the gastrocnemius muscles as shown here. Now we'll start this is the molding process. Here the plaster molding begins with the one hand applying a strong pressure between the heads of the gastrocnemius and muscle as shown, and the other hand molds plaster around the wings of the tibia. The thumb are then used to mold around the wings of the patella, and the quadriceps implantation area. Downward pressure is applied to the top of the patella with the thumb and the forefinger, while the bottom of the patella is supported with the other hand. The patella tendon bearing cast or PTB cast. This is now the stockinette is folded over the. This is the molding pressure, and pressure is given on the by the top of the patella with the thumb and the forefinger, while bottom of the patella is supported with the other hands. In this video and diagrams you can watch very carefully that downward pressure is applied to the top of the patella with the thumb and the forefinger, while the bottom of the patella is supported with the other hand. Now excess stockinette is folded over. So the patella tendon bearing cast, this is the stockinette is folded over the proximal edge of the cast, and the third plaster bandage is applied in the same manner as the second. It secures loose end of the stockinette. The plaster is molded to the curve of the tibia, the malleoli and the Achilles tendon. The result will be a secure fitting cast. The extra plaster covering the toes should be noted. It should ensure there will be adequate support for the metatarsal heads. The excess plaster is now removed with the scissors, and the stockinette at the distal end is cut and folded back to reveal the toes. This is the molding pressure. This principle of the molding will be same as like in for a prosthetic cast or in case of PTB brace. So during the PTB prosthesis also, here in this video you can see the excess plaster on the toes is cut down, so the toes are revealed. Okay, this is the plaster covering the toes should be noted. It should be ensured there will be adequate support for the metatarsal heads. The excess plaster is now removed with the scissors. To allow weight bearing, a walking rubber will now be applied. It can be seen that the flat surface of the walking rubber does not lie securely against the surface of the cast. Therefore, a plaster slab is folded over, wetted, and placed in between and molded to ensure the stability of the walking rubber. The walking rubber is secured to the cast with the plaster bandage. Care is taken to ensure that the weight-bearing walking rubber lies perpendicular to the axis of the tibia and the back of the walking rubber is in line with it. Now the walking rubber is secure on the sole. This position will encourage the patient to walk with a rolling movements of the foot rather than by placing the weight on either side, heel or toes. Now the plaster is smoothened. The secure fit of the cast is verified by having the patient attempt to rotate the leg. A secure fitting cast will prevent rotation. Flexion at the knee is also checked. The patient should not be able to flex the knee more than 90 degree as the PTB functions as a weight bearing cast. The patient should be instructed 20 to 36 hours before beginning to weight bearing or walk to allow the plaster to set. The exercise for the patient can be now explained and demonstrated. The patient sits with the leg extended towards the leg to the point of soreness, holds the leg there for 5 seconds and then extends the leg. This is the plaster is setting now. After completing the plaster, after setting the plaster, we go demonstrate or explain the exercise of the knee and quadriceps exercise will be explained to the patients. Now this plaster is complete. This may be smoothened by inverting the gloves and wetting it, and that may be used for a smoothing of the plaster. The knee should not bend more than 90 degree so that there will be no rotation of the leg. It should be properly secure. Now in this video you can see, now we will go for the demonstrate the exercise of the knee and quadriceps exercise for the knee. For this, the exercise for the patient can be explained and demonstrated. The patient sits with the leg extended towards the leg to the point of soreness, holds the leg there for 5 seconds and then extends the leg. The exercise should be repeated as necessary to relieve any soreness of the knee. The application of the PTB or plaster patellar tendon bearing cast is now complete. Thank you very much.